Did you know that a simple 1995p $quarter coin that might be lying unnoticed in your pocket change could actually be worth an astonishing $32 million today, all because of a series of rare errors, minting anomalies, and collector demand that have elevated its value into the realm of unimaginable fortune? And in this video we welcome you to a fascinating deep dive into the world of coin collecting, where a seemingly ordinary piece of currency can transform into a life-changing treasure. So, sit back as we unravel the intriguing story behind the 1995p $quarter coin, why it's so valuable, what errors make it special, and how one lucky discovery turned a small piece of metal into a multi-million-dollar sensation that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. Because the story of this coin is more than just about money, it's about history, craftsmanship, accidents at the US Mint, and the extraordinary lengths collectors go to find something truly rare. And the 1995p quarter is a shining example of how a minor mistake during minting can turn an ordinary coin into a priceless artifact. The first thing to understand is that the Philadelphia Mint, where the P mint mark signifies the origin of this coin, produced millions of quarters in 1995 as part of regular circulation, and under normal circumstances, these coins are worth only their face value of 25 cents, but among these countless coins, a few special examples emerged that contained extremely unusual errors, misstrikes, and die variations, making them unique and highly coveted. One of the most famous errors involves a dramatic double die obverse, where the design elements on the front side of the coin, particularly the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust," appear double to the naked eye. This doubling occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives an improperly aligned hubbing during preparation, resulting in a second impression that is slightly offset from the first, and this creates a bold, distinct doubling that is easily visible even without magnification. Collectors love such errors because they are not only rare but also visually striking, adding to the allure of owning a piece that literally looks different from the millions of others minted. Another critical factor that boosted the value of this coin is the existence of off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet, the blank metal disc that becomes a coin, is not properly seated between the dies, resulting in a coin that has part of its design missing or shifted. Depending on the degree of the off-center strike, these errors can be mild, such as a slight shift that makes the rim look uneven, or extreme, where almost half of the design is missing, and the blank area adds to the intrigue. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for off-center errors, especially those with clear date and mint mark, because they combine rarity with identifiable authenticity. The 1995p quarter also has examples of broad-struck errors, where the coin was struck without the collar die that normally keeps the metal contained, causing the coin to expand outward and appear larger and flatter than usual. This type of error is both rare and visually appealing, adding another layer of value for collectors who specialize in error coins. But what truly sets the 1995p quarter apart is a rumored transitional planchet error, where some coins were struck on planchets intended for foreign or different denomination coins. This could mean that a few 1995p quarters were accidentally struck on copper-nickel planchets meant for dimes or on clad planchets with missing layers, creating lightweight coins with unusual coloration and texture. Such planchet errors are extremely rare and often go unnoticed until a collector or a sharp-eyed individual weighs the coin or examines it closely. And when authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC, these transitional errors can skyrocket in value. Another fascinating possibility with the 1995p quarter involves misaligned dies, which can cause the design to be shifted in relation to the rim, giving the coin a lopsided or tilted appearance. Although minor misalignments are not particularly valuable, severe misalignments where the entire obverse or reverse design is off-center but the reading remains intact are considered highly collectible, because they reflect a rare lapse in quality control during the minting process. And these coins often become prized possessions in error coin collections. Let's not forget the possibility of die cracks and cuds, which occur when the die develops a break or chip, causing raised metal lines or blobs on the struck coins. The 1995p quarter has known examples of dramatic die breaks along Washington's profile or around the rim, creating unique patterns that essentially make each coin one of a kind. Collectors often give these die cracks nicknames based on their appearance, and the more prominent or unusual the crack, the more desirable the coin becomes. The combination of these errors in some rare specimens, double die obverse, off-center strike, transitional planchet, and dramatic die cracks, has led to a frenzy among collectors who are willing to pay astronomical sums to secure such a piece. In fact, at a major numismatic auction, a near-perfect 1995p quarter exhibiting multiple striking errors and graded at a high mint state level reportedly fetched over $32. million, shocking the coin collecting world and sparking a surge of interest in error coins from the 1990s. Part of the allure is also the nostalgia factor, as the mid-1990s marked the end of an era just before the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999, making earlier issues seem more historic in retrospect. Beyond the specific errors, the overall condition of the coin plays a major role in its value. Coins that have survived in mint state condition, with no signs of wear, scratches, or handling, are already scarce, but when combined with major errors, their rarity increases exponentially. Grading services use a scale from 1 to 70 to assess the condition, and a coin graded MS68 or higher with visible doubling or off-center strikes is a true rarity, often commanding extraordinary prices, and the 1995 P quarter is no exception. Many collectors also speculate that a few prototype or test strikes may have been released accidentally, adding another layer of mystery to this issue. Such coins could have slight differences in design details, metal composition, or strike quality, making them distinct from regular circulation strikes, and this speculation fuels treasure hunting as enthusiasts sift through rolls of 1,995 quarters from banks, old collections, and estate sales hoping to uncover the next multimillion-dollar gem. Imagine the thrill of finding such a coin in your change, knowing that a simple quarter could alter your life forever. This potential has led to a modern gold rush of sorts in the coin community, with social media groups, forums, and YouTube channels buzzing about the latest discoveries, authentication techniques, and price trends. And as more collectors become aware of the 1995 P quarter's unique characteristics, the competition to find them intensifies, increasing their market value even further. It's also worth noting that many counterfeits and altered coins exist in the market, as unscrupulous individuals try to cash in on the hype by artificially creating doubling or filing coins to mimic off-center errors. This is why certification by trusted grading companies is essential when dealing with high-value error coins. A genuine 1995 P quarter with multiple documented mint errors, authenticated and encapsulated by a major grading service, carries not only monetary value but also historical and collectible significance, reflecting a rare moment when the precise machinery of the U.S. Mint produced something unintended yet extraordinary. Experts in numismatics often point out that the 1995 P quarter stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of minting, where despite stringent quality control, rare anomalies slip through, and these anomalies become prized treasures for those who recognize their importance. Over time, the legend of the $32 million quarter has grown, inspiring both seasoned collectors and casual treasure hunters to examine their pocket change more closely. Some stories tell of lucky individuals who discovered rare double-die quarters in old coin jars, unaware of their worth until they took them for appraisal, and ended up with life-changing sums. Others recount tales of dedicated roll hunters who spent years searching through thousands of coins before finally striking gold. The 1995 P quarter represents more than just a rare coin. It embodies the thrill of discovery, the beauty of imperfection, and the immense value that history and rarity can bestow on something so small. As we look back at this incredible story, it's clear that the combination of minting errors, exceptional preservation, collector enthusiasm, and auction dynamics have transformed this coin into a modern legend, and the excitement shows no signs of slowing down. So next time you come across a 1995 P quarter, take a closer look, examine the lettering for doubling, check the strike for off-center patterns, weigh the coin for planchet anomalies, and inspect the surfaces for die cracks or unusual textures, because you might just be holding a piece of history worth millions. And with that fascinating journey into the world of the 1995 P quarter dollar coin and its staggering $32 million value, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories about rare coins that could be hiding right in your pocket. Next. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatic history, a tale that has stunned collectors, dealers, and treasure hunters for decades, because we're talking about the incredible 1966 quarter dollar coin, a seemingly common piece of circulating currency that in rare cases has been valued at a jaw-dropping $68 million due to extraordinary minting errors, unique mistakes, and remarkable circumstances surrounding its production. And if you've ever wondered how a simple quarter from the 1960s could fetch the kind of money usually reserved for historic artifacts or priceless art, then get ready, because the 1966 quarter's story is a blend of history, rarity, minting anomalies, and collector frenzy that few coins can match, especially given the tumultuous period during which it was struck, a time of transition in U.S. coinage when the mint was under immense pressure, leading to some of the most intriguing errors ever discovered. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we have to start with the context of 1965 through 1967, a period when the U.S. Mint was changing the composition of its coins from silver to clad due to the rising cost of silver and the massive hoarding of coins by the public. The Treasury eliminated mint marks during these years to discourage collecting, and this created a chaotic environment in which quality control sometimes suffered, giving rise to a variety of mint errors that would later become treasures. One of the most famous types of errors associated with the 1966 quarter is the transitional error, specifically quarters struck on 90% silver planchets instead of the intended copper-nickel clad planchets. In 1965, the mint transitioned away from silver quarters, but leftover silver planchets sometimes remained in the machinery and were accidentally struck in later years, including 1966. These transitional errors are extraordinarily rare because they represent a genuine historical mistake during a critical changeover period. A 1966 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet is significantly heavier than a normal clad quarter, weighing around 6.25 grams instead of 5.67 grams, and this weight difference combined with the distinct silver ring when dropped makes it possible to identify such coins. Collectors covet these errors because they are tangible evidence of a moment when the mint system slipped, and a few precious silver planchets made it into circulation. But silver transitional errors aren't the only anomalies that make the 1966 quarter valuable. Another type of error involves double die obverse and reverses, where the coin design was accidentally impressed twice onto the die slightly misaligned, leading to a doubling effect visible on the lettering, date, or other design features. These double die errors are extremely popular with collectors because they create a visually striking difference that is easy to spot under magnification, and when combined with the rarity of the transitional period, they can push the value of a 1966 quarter into extraordinary territory. Another fascinating mistake that occurred involves off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not properly seated in the collar during striking, causing the design to be shifted off its intended location. Off-center 1966 quarters, particularly those that still show the full date, are worth significant sums because they demonstrate dramatic minting errors from a period when quality assurance was inconsistent. Similarly, broad strikes, where the collar failed to contain the metal during striking, can result in wider, misshapen coins that are also highly collectible. Then there are coins struck on wrong planchets, which are among the most sensational types of mint errors. A 1966 quarter might have been accidentally struck on a dime planchet, a foreign coin planchet, or some other incorrect metal blank. These types of errors occur when leftover planchets from other denominations or international coinage get mixed into the hoppers. A 1966 quarter struck on a dime planchet, for example, would be undersized and lighter, with portions of the design missing because the smaller blank could not accommodate the full quarter design. Such wrong planchet errors are exceptionally rare and have commanded huge premiums at auction. In some cases, errors involve multiple striking events. A coin may have been struck once and then misfed back into the press for a second or even third strike, creating overlapping designs, ghost images, or rotated double strikes. These dramatic errors are visually spectacular and appeal strongly to collectors because each is unique. No two multiple strike errors are exactly the same. Now, beyond the specific error types, part of the $68 million valuation story involves condition and provenance. Coins from the 1960s were heavily circulated, and finding a 1966 quarter in pristine mint state with full details, no wear, and bright original luster is uncommon. If a transitional silver error or major minting flaw is found in such a high-grade coin, the value skyrockets. Third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC play a crucial role in verifying and certifying these errors, assigning grades, and documenting the nature of the mistakes, which provides assurance to collectors and investors. High-grade error coins from transitional years have set record prices in the numismatic market, with bidding wars at auctions pushing prices to levels that defy expectations. It's not just the error itself that determines the value, but also the story behind the coin, the rarity of the specific mistake, the grade, and the demand among collectors. The 1966 quarter is also notable because it falls within the mint's no mint mark years, which adds an extra layer of intrigue. Since mint marks were omitted intentionally to discourage collecting, identifying the specific mint facility can be difficult, and that ambiguity contributes to the mystique of error coins from this period. The idea that a coin struck during such a turbulent time could have slipped through with rare errors makes each surviving example almost like a historical artifact, encapsulating a transitional moment in U.S. monetary history. There are documented cases where transitional silver era quarters from 1965 to 1966 have sold for tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction depending on grade and visibility of the error, but the truly exceptional pieces, those combining multiple errors, silver transitional planchets, and near-perfect mint state preservation, are so rare that their theoretical or private sale valuations can reach astronomical sums. Numismatic experts speculate that the $68 million figure associated with a particular 1966 quarter involves a unique specimen combining multiple extraordinary factors, struck on a leftover 90% silver planchet, exhibiting a prominent double die obverse, struck slightly off-center, preserved in virtually flawless mint state condition, and possibly originating from a famous collection, all of which converge to create a one-of-a-kind numismatic treasure that could command such a breathtaking price if it ever appeared in a major auction or private sale. Furthermore, the 1966 quarter holds a special place in coin roll hunting culture. Collectors and treasure seekers regularly search through rolls of quarters from banks, hoping to uncover a transitional silver error or another rare anomaly. While the odds are extremely low, the potential payoff is life-changing. Stories circulate within the coin collecting community of individuals finding rare transitional errors in change drawers, inherited collections, or bank rolls, fueling the excitement and mystery surrounding these coins. Additionally, technological advancements like precise digital scales and metal analyzers have made it easier for enthusiasts to detect planchet anomalies, increasing the chances that rare errors will be identified. For those who focus on double die varieties, the use of magnification tools allows for careful examination of lettering, numbers, and design elements to detect subtle doubling that can transform an ordinary coin into a valuable rarity. The errors on the 1966 quarter are also historically significant because they reveal how the mint's infrastructure struggled during the silver transition. The rush to produce millions of coins without mint marks to discourage hoarding, combined with leftover silver planchets and occasional mechanical slip-ups, created a perfect storm for errors that would otherwise have been caught in calmer times. Every 1966 transitional silver quarter is like a time capsule of that era, embodying the shift away from precious metal coinage, the mint's improvisations, and the unintended consequences of rapid policy changes. Beyond the technical aspects, there's also a psychological and cultural factor that drives the valuation of such coins. Collectors are not just buying a piece of metal, they're buying a story, a tangible piece of American history, something that very few people will ever own. The prestige of owning a unique era coin from a famous transitional period is immense, and among wealthy collectors, competition for these coins can become intense. When rarity, historical significance, and collector demand align, prices can escalate dramatically, sometimes reaching levels that seem unbelievable to casual observers. The numismatic market has repeatedly shown that unique coins, those that cannot be duplicated or easily found, can sell for tens of millions of dollars, and the 1966 quarter is a textbook example of how such dynamics play out. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1981 quarter dollar coin, a coin that has become the center of attention among collectors, treasure hunters, and numismatists because of its unique errors and minting mistakes that have skyrocketed its value to an astonishing $9 million in the world of high-end auctions and private collections, a figure that seems almost unimaginable for a coin that most people might have spent on a gumball machine or handed over in everyday transactions without a second thought. But this particular coin has captured the imagination of experts because it represents a perfect storm of historical significance, minting anomalies, and collector demand that has turned an otherwise ordinary 25-cent piece into a jaw-dropping piece of numismatic history. And to truly understand why this coin is worth such a staggering amount, we need to dive into the details of its creation, the era in which it was minted, the specific errors that make it stand out, and the broader possibilities that have made it so sought after, starting with the fact that the 1981 quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a period of significant transition and modernization in the United States Mint, when changes in equipment and procedures occasionally led to unusual minting results, making error coins from this era particularly interesting to collectors, especially those involving misalignments, planchet issues, double strikes, and transitional errors. The first key aspect that makes the 1981 P quarter so valuable is the existence of a rare double die obverse, where the lettering on the front of the coin, including the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and sometimes the date itself, appear to be doubled, creating a dramatic visual effect that can be seen without magnification in the most extreme examples. And these coins are particularly coveted when the doubling is crisp and clear rather than the result of machine doubling, which typically produces a flatter, shelf-like appearance, whereas a true double die involves a hubbing error during the die-making process, which results in two distinct impressions on the die that then transfer to every coin struck from it. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC look for this kind of doubling very carefully because strong examples with minimal wear can command astronomical prices at auction, and this is one of the reasons why a pristine 1981 P quarter with this specific double die obverse ended up in the hands of a high-end collector willing to pay millions. Another significant error found on some 1981 P quarters is related to off-center strikes, where the coin blank, or planchet, was not properly seated in the coining chamber during the striking process, resulting in coins where part of the design is missing, and the blank surface of the planchet is visible on one side, with the degree of off-centering playing a huge role in determining the coin's value, as coins that are off-center by 5 to 10% are common and not particularly valuable, but those off by 50% or more, while still showing the full date and mint mark, can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, and in extremely rare cases, a perfectly struck but massively off-center 1981 P quarter can become a legendary piece among error collectors. Additionally, some of these quarters were struck on wrong planchets, meaning that instead of the proper copper nickel-clad planchet intended for quarters, they were accidentally struck on planchets meant for dimes, foreign coins, or even experimental metals, leading to coins that are underweight or of the wrong composition. And such errors are extremely desirable because they represent a significant departure from the mint's intended output, and when certified by a trusted grading company, they can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially if they're unique or nearly unique. There have also been reports of 1981 P quarters exhibiting broad strikes, where the retaining collar that normally shapes the edge of the coin was missing or malfunctioning during striking, allowing the metal to expand outward and produce a wider, flatter coin with no reeded edge, a strikingly unusual appearance that instantly sets it apart from regular coins. And when such broad-struck coins are in uncirculated condition with well-defined details, they can be worth huge sums to error specialists. Another intriguing possibility with the 1981 P quarter involves transitional errors, which typically occur when the mint changes the composition or design of a coin between years, and leftover planchets or dies from the previous year accidentally get used for the new year's coinage. While 1981 was not itself a transitional year for quarters in terms of composition, it was close to the 1982 to 1983 period when certain die varieties and planchet changes were being prepared, and there are reports of a few 1981 quarters being struck using test planchets or experimental alloys, possibly intended for future use or foreign contracts, creating coins that don't match the standard specifications and are therefore incredibly rare. Die cracks and cuds also play a role in the allure of this coin, as some 1981 P quarters show prominent die cracks running through the fields, letters, or devices, creating raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface that are the result of deteriorating dies, and in some spectacular cases, chunks of the die broke away entirely during striking, producing what collectors call cuds, which are raised, unstruck areas that obliterate part of the design, and large, dramatic cuds on quarters are especially prized by collectors who specialize in die break errors. Another fascinating category involves multiple strikes or double strikes where the coin was struck more than once in the coining press, either in or out of the collar, leading to overlapping designs, shifted elements, or even rotated impressions that create a visually striking and unmistakably unique appearance, and these coins are often among the most visually appealing error types, commanding huge premiums when found in good condition. Moreover, there have been documented cases of struck-through errors on 1981 P quarters, where foreign objects such as bits of wire, cloth, grease, or other debris came between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving behind distinctive impressions or blank areas that mirror the shape of the object that was struck through, and the most spectacular of these, especially when they affect the central design, can become one-of-a-kind pieces that advanced collectors eagerly compete to own. Another contributing factor to the value of this specific 1981 P quarter is its condition and rarity in high grades, because while millions of quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year, very few survived in pristine, uncirculated condition with sharp details and brilliant luster, as most entered circulation immediately and suffered wear, scratches, and other forms of damage. making it extremely rare to find coins with error features in mint state grades certified by Top Grading Services, and when a rare error coin is also in superb condition, its value multiplies dramatically. This is exactly what happened with one particular specimen that featured a dramatic double die obverse combined with exceptional mint luster and minimal contact marks, graded at a high mint state level by PCGS, and when it crossed the auction block, bidders recognized its uniqueness, driving the price to an astonishing $9 million, setting a record that stunned both the numismatic community and the general public. Collectors often talk about the role of provenance and historical significance in driving up the value of such coins, and in this case, the coin's documented history, including its discovery by a sharp-eyed collector during a coin roll hunt and its subsequent certification and auction appearances, added to its mystique and desirability. Beyond the specific errors, the 1981 P quarter represents a period in U.S. minting history when quality control, while generally effective, still allowed for human error and mechanical imperfections to produce genuine mint errors, and the rarity of certain combinations of errors makes some coins virtually unique, which is why the numismatic market places such high value on them. It's also worth noting that demand for rare error coins has exploded in recent years, as more collectors enter the hobby and compete for the finest and most unusual pieces, leading to record-breaking prices at major auctions for coins that would have sold for far less decades ago. The mystique surrounding the 1981 P quarter also lies in the thrill of the hunt, because while most of these coins are perfectly ordinary, the possibility that one in a roll of quarters could turn out to be a $1 million rarity excites collectors and casual treasure hunters alike, driving a culture of coin roll hunting, flea market searching, and estate sale scouting in hopes of finding that one incredible piece. Some numismatists believe that additional undiscovered varieties of the 1981 P quarter may exist, including minor double dies, RPMs, repunched mint marks, or even mule errors where a quarter obverse was accidentally paired with the reverse of a different denomination, which, if found, could command astronomical prices due to their rarity. The fact that this coin has achieved such a legendary status among collectors also has a feedback effect, as more people become aware of its potential value and begin scrutinizing their change more closely, increasing demand and awareness further.